Serious, what's something harmless your parent did to you as a kid that really screwed you up as an adult? My dad was a huge yeller. Any little thing that went wrong was a full-on expletive-filled barrage. It never scared me or anything, because he wasn't violent. However, in my adult life my wife and I will argue and she'll tell me to stop yelling. I don't have the same yelling scale as other people it seems, so I think I'm holding back and she thinks I'm yelling. It's very difficult to judge internally, but I'm working on it. My dad's yelling made me terrified of people raising their voices, making it a rule that I could hang out with friends once a week until I graduated high school. I started losing friends very quickly. People just wouldn't invite me places because I could never go. The nights I could go out, I had to be back by 8 in high school. Before high school it was earlier, so I really didn't have anyone. Nobody wanted to hang out from 5-8 on a Friday night. They wanted midnight or so. I completely lack the confidence to make friends now. I haven't had a friend over in years. I'm 28. My birthday is coming up. When I turn 30 I can't have a party. I'd have nobody to invite. I had a boyfriend throw me a surprise party for my 24th. His friends showed up and my family showed up. It was uncomfortable seeing like 10 people at a Barbie my party when none of them were my friends. My brother ended up inviting his friends to add more people. I was a gifted student growing up, but when I got to algebra, I had a tough time with it. It was the first time school didn't come easy to me. Anyway, instead of pressing me to challenge myself and persevere, my dad basically gave me a cop-out by saying something like, "That's okay, you're just not a math person." This was compounded by his attitude when I would express interest in a career, medicine, and he would say something like, "Well, you're not good at math, so you might not want to go that route." This actually had a huge impact on me. I internalized those messages from my dad to the point that I didn't pursue challenging subjects. I'm 41 now, and my biggest regret is that I didn't pursue medicine, and it hurts to know why I didn't. The worst part is that I am good at math. I just had to work hard like everybody else to get there. My mom used to joke a lot about my looks. If I stayed in the car for something, she would say, "Show me your ugly face. Good, no one will want to kidnap you," etc. Everything she said was because it's funny. You know I don't mean it. You love me because I'm like this, but all it's done is leave me with a mean sense of humor to train myself out of and constant negativity about myself. I had kinda the opposite experience. My mom would tell me little tips on improving my acne without provocation, then try to tell me I look just fine. Mixed signals about whether or not I look fine or not has left me unable to see myself as attractive in any way. After hitting puberty fairly early, anytime my parents saw me in a bathing suit, or a tank top and shorts, or anything even remotely form-fitting, they'd start making jokes about how I was getting fat, and needed to watch out for that if I wanted to stay pretty. I doubt they'd even remember doing it. It was so offhand. But it stuck with me. I was never even remotely close to overweight. I was developing curves, like women do at that age. So by high school, I had an eating disorder. I'm at my heaviest now, in recovery, and my BMI has still never been above 22. But there's a voice in the back of my mind that I have to fight all the time that tells me actually, I'm on the brink of obesity, and I won't be pretty anymore if I eat the second piece of pizza or skip out on my 7th day in a row at the gym. My mom wanted a baby girl instead of a boy when I was born. When I was growing up, she had this other kid come over to the house all the time. It was a friend of hers kid. He loved to walk around in her high heels and help her clean the house. He brushed and braided her hair and put on her makeup. He basically fulfilled all of the girly things I couldn't do as a young boy. My dad also had a fake son that would come over and hang out. Another friend's kid. He was on the football team at school, liked all sports, loved to fish, and helped do manly stuff like chop wood and stuff to help out. We also took him camping every year. We had pictures of these kids hanging on the walls in our house as if they were my siblings. I wasn't even friends with them. I wasn't a good enough boy to be my dad's son, and not a good enough girl to be my mom's daughter, so they replaced me. I told all of this to my therapist recently, and she just sat wide-eyed and speechless for several minutes. Dang. I'm so glad you're seeing a therapist and getting all of this out in the open. I'm so sorry you went through that as a child. Using fast food and candy as an incentive for everything. I was morbidly obese by 11, and high school is rough when you're heavy. It took most of high school to reach a normal weight, and I still count calories and watch my diet carefully to sustain it. There's ample evidence which shows childhood obesity has dramatic effects on adulthood health, even if you manage to lose the weight. Glad you lost some weight and are taking steps to maintain a healthy lifestyle. My dad has a temper and yells angrily about everything. Not really at us, but if some little thing doesn't go perfectly the way he wanted, he will just start screaming about it. This happened so often and still does, and it contributes largely to the severe anxiety disorder I have now. My grandma would never let me leave the house. Now I'm extremely antisocial. My parents let me leave the house for an hour bike ride independently and for school and work, but I can't hang out with friends or go on dates. They denied ever sending me and my sister to a day camp at which I was groped. Dang. I hope you got some therapy and know you did nothing wrong, and that the person who touched you was wrong and your parents living in denial is also wrong. Cleaning. My mother always freaked out and screamed anytime something looked messy. The whole cleaning process, picking up items, laundry, dusting, vacuuming, was always a huge ordeal and never good enough for her. I hate cleaning and I try really hard to keep my apartment neat, but I always associate cleaning with screaming. My husband is more messy than I am and I sometimes can feel myself getting overly agitated with him, and I try so hard not to scream at him over a pile of laundry. I relate to this so dang much. My mother has insane and arbitrary standards for tidiness, and if I don't do something right or don't do it exactly at the right time, it's yelling time. Being told that my emotions were wrong, not right. For all the good grades I had, I am emotionally immature. I don't understand how people can do that. You're feeling what you're feeling. It's not right or wrong. It's fact. Getting teased about being a girl trying to be friends with everyone, including boys. Every single one of them was my boyfriend, or I must have a crush. It can't just be me wanting to have friends. To this day I can't really get close enough to guys to have a serious relationship. That and have a neglectful father. And every time I consider it, I'm petrified of bringing home an actual boyfriend to meet the family because I don't want to be teased anymore. It made me just feel so uncomfortable about who I should want to be friends with because I'm paranoid my family is mocking me behind my back. When I was potty training, my potty was in the middle of the room. I have vague memories of my mum's friends watching me poop and laughing at my poop when I stood up. These memories are confirmed by my mum after I asked her. I'm 100% sure that's the reason I can't poop in public, or even at home if anyone can hear me. If you were anything like my nephew, you may have demanded an audience in the first place. He drags his potty out from the bathroom to the living room or wherever the most spectators are. I can't fault his confidence. Not show affection to each other. Fellow card-carrying intimacy issues club member. My parents never made me learn important skills as a child, and would often make fun of and blame me for such. I was never taught how to swim, how to cook, how to properly brush my teeth, or even basic hygiene. All of this was fine for me as a little kid, but has caused me a lot of problems in adulthood. Worst of all, they always blame it on me, saying, "Oh, you didn't want to do it so we didn't make you," implying a 5-year-old had the high ground over 2 adults. Yes, I know this so much. I have trouble taking care of my basic hygiene and had bad teeth. My mother never taught me how to brush teeth or take care of them, and later on she always made fun of me for my teeth. The process of getting them to a good state took 3 years, a lot of money and a lot of pain, and her complaining. My mom jokingly, she says it was a joke nowadays, asked if I was pregnant every time my period was late. I would spank my lower stomach for hours on end because I thought I was pregnant from sitting on the toilet. I was 12. Oh, geez. What a great way to mess up a kid going through puberty, which is tough enough, then making you paranoid about misinformation on how your body works. They always shrugged off my accomplishments as of course you got straight A's. You're so smart, or congrats on this huge accomplishment. But I mean, we're not surprised. What they thought they were doing was complimenting me, and they were doing that. I never saw it was anything else until I grew up and realized I won't try at anything I'm not immediately good at and feel inferior to anyone who is better than me at something. While they were complimenting my intelligence, They should have been complimenting my work ethic. Now, I struggle with a fixed mindset and feel like a big bucket of wasted potential because I'm so terrified of failure. Not their fault. They didn't do anything wrong and we didn't know about the importance of grit and growth mindset back then. Ironically, a lot of smart kids got screwed over by the whole fixed mindset thing even though they were complimented by it at the time. I was raised in a church where virginity until marriage was sacred. I had been upped and repeatedly abused as a child. The messages tumbling around in my mind growing up involved a lot of shame and being inherently unworthy of love. I am finally in therapy for the abuse and more, and undoing the lies I learned so very well. Good to hear you're getting help. You're not unworthy of love because someone else hurt you. They're the ones unworthy of love. Mum smoked 3 packs a day but didn't want us kids to be around the smoke all the time, so she set up her personal space. That is, chair where she read books anytime she wasn't working, away from us, and we missed out on a whole lot of affection interaction because of her habit. Took a lot of time and healing to have a healthy relationship with a woman. Happily married 8 years this coming October. My mom used to tell my sister and I that she was too claustrophobic to hug us. Didn't have that problem with our little siblings, though. Guess the claustrophobia cleared up. My mom used to tell me stories about a big hairy spider that was going to come bite me if I got out of bed at night. I still freaking hate spiders. My mother got tickets for a small boat canal tour in Amsterdam for the 2 of us. Somehow as a little kid I wanted to keep those tickets, cause why not? So instead of just giving them, she wanted me to practice mental calculation a bit. So she gave me a few questions on the lines of a ticket for an adult costs this much and for a child this much. How much should a family pay with X adults and X children? I got 2 or 3 right. The last one on the other hand, I couldn't get it right. She even asked me 3 or 4 times more for the last one, each time more aggravated than the last time. Last answer yet again wrong, and she kinda got too frustrated with me that she tore the tickets up and the whole boat trip was probably awkward for me. Now 10+ years later I realize I have a fear for failures. I'm scared to frick up things I do, say, think, and even how I look. Even now typing this brings me a bit into tears. Worst fear of failure is that I'm very quickly to think I disappoint my parents and current BF, making me say sorry way too often as well. Moving around. By the time I finished elementary school I had been to 5 in 2 cities. I become very good at making friendships and getting into relationship, but I had a very hard time keeping them. My parents weren't our helicopter parents. Along with this, they didn't care enough to teach me valuable lessons or anything I'd actually need in life. It was all grades. Alla. The result? I lacked many of the skills people had, such as basic cooking, social skills, etc. And also had and still have social anxiety, especially with authority, even if I don't see them as a threat, which one time ultimately nearly made me kill myself. Want me to be happy? Sounds fine out of context. But no, I wasn't allowed to be anything but happy. But you can bet I would have gotten a lecture for anything less than cheerful. Comfort is antagonizing. Disappointment and annoyance feels shameful. And to this day I don't fully trust anyone at all with my thoughts or feelings. My dad would often playfully hit me in the head with plastic bottles, rolled up newspapers, etc. He usually hit harder than he probably meant to, and when I'd say ow he'd tell me to toughen up. That couldn't have hurt, blah blah. Now years later I still find myself flinching at the most random things. I still flinch too, thanks my older brother beating the crap out of me almost every day of my life from the ages of 3-15. It didn't toughen me up, it just made me very mistrustful of people getting too physically close to me. My mom used to make fun of me for fulfilling manly stereotypes such as only wanting to wear 1 pair of shoes, hated makeup and clothes shopping even as a teen, not being able to find something despite it being right in front of me, etc. I'm really insecure about my femininity now, so much to where if I do something annoying that's stereotypically feminine and someone calls me out on it, I'm secretly super flattered that they think I'm girly. I'm also bisexual, so being a woman who likes women sometimes makes me feel really masculine and uncomfortable, even though I know that's irrational. I was never taught how to style my hair in a way that looked good. My parents just flattened my hair into something like a bowl cut. zero product, and sent me off to school. I didn't know any better. Gelled up hair was for the popular kids and that wasn't me. Took me until the end of high school to wisen up and get myself a proper adult haircut. Then I realized how terrible I looked for most of my teenage years and how much confidence I had been missing. I asked my parents why they never did something, and they said I never wanted anything different or asked about it. The lesson to be learned here is that the value of appearance and styling has to be actively taught if a child doesn't figure it out for themselves. I didn't, and I wish my parents had intervened more actively, against my will even. I didn't care for regular showers either back then. Shows how good my judgment was. Just laughing at me for getting upset about something stupid and telling me how silly I was being. There is nothing wrong with that, but I was just a sensitive kid and took away from that showing your sad and upset emotions was bad and that it should be avoided in company of others at all cost. It really fricked me up in the long term and I didn't get help because I couldn't talk about it to my parents for the same fear of being laughed at. I can't blame them and I really don't, because it is really something I see quite a lot and with 99% of the kids it's harmless. I, however, am still recovering from years of mental crappiness. They should have asked you why you were upset instead of just mocking you. That must have sucked so hard. I'm glad you're at least recovering. My parents would scream and fight a lot over stupid things and then blame it on me and not my siblings. When they did that, they brushed it off, didn't think anything was wrong when I cried about it, and yell at me for being dramatic. I'm a triplet and the middle child, so I always had to do stuff my siblings didn't. When I was around 10, my brother and I had a big fight and I was forced into anger management therapy, but my brother wasn't, so it really messed with my head. They also talk to the other two a lot, and when I try to say something they unconsciously ignore me because they think I'll say something hurtful or stupid. Neglect. Neglect seems harmless. Parents are busy with their own lives, right? But that lack of love does terrible things to a child. Severe depression, self-esteem issues, trust issues, loneliness becomes normal, numbness becomes a habit. I wish I were dead, but the medicine helps, a bit. Both my parents would sometimes leave randomly without telling me. My mom would leave whenever she was angry at my dad and I was so young that I thought she would never come back. My dad didn't like to talk about it, and it would sometimes be for extended periods of time. My dad would disappear to the bar and not come home until 1-2ish in the morning when I lived with just him, about 13 at the time. Neither one see how this could have negatively impacted me. I still get very scared of people leaving me. Helicopter parenting. I was never out of my mom's sight. I know she is an abuse survivor and I know she really did mean well, but now I am suspicious of everything and afraid to try new things. You have been visited by the wisdom pupper type. Study well, pupper, or you will fail your next test at school. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.